Prefer when I'm by myself. I don't wanna hang around.
3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Combat Sports Weekly, and we are joined today by the one and only, the all-powerful Rico Robles. Hey, what's up, Tito Rico?
What's up?
Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Welcome.
What's up, Franco?
Always
Carl,
glad to have
JP?
another Calbo on our show.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
This is like for us four. It's the evolution of hairlines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Exactly.
alam mo yun, we can have a good solid sponsor for this. Yeah, but hey, man, it's great to be a part of your show, guys. You know, Combat
Thank
Sports
you.
Weekly, all about combat. We missed this. Sa Pilipinas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sa Pilipinas, libre to eh. Libre ang combat sports, kaya masaya, di ba? We could watch boxing on a Sunday. Kasi usually sa US, this is on a Saturday
Yeah.
when they do the fights. So sa atin, Sunday, family day and everything. So yeah, what's
Oh,
up? What's up? What's poppin'?
That's why everybody gets to watch this. And for today, we are going to break down, discuss, and analyze, and formulate whatever we want to formulate about UFC 263.
Oh,
Yes.
what
Okay.
a fight.
Really good card. But before that, I want to ask my boy Rico here, like, as someone who is really into boxing, like, how do you find this entertainment only, like, borderline freak show na ano,
Spectacles.
na boxing spectacles? Diba?
Well,
never mind Logan Paul and Mayweather. Like, for example,
It's
yesterday,
worse now. It's worse
like
now.
Lamar Odom versus Aaron Carter.
I mean, I'm fine with Lamar Odom and Aaron Carter, but Chuck Liddell being the referee, what the hell?
Who would have expected, di ba?
Diba, parang nagigising lang niya, no? Parang,
That's
"Oy,
true. We're all glad Chuck has worked though, di ba?
Right?
Yeah.
Pero ano yan eh. You know, it's a freak show. You know, they're not gonna stop until someone gets hurt. That's all I'm gonna say. And
Yeah. Okay, that's a very good point.
With 50-pound difference, with 30-pound difference, no matter what size of the headgear, what size of the glove, dude, the TikToker versus YouTuber,
The
you see their
YouTuber, yeah.
headgear. Their
Yeah.
headgear was a wrestling headgear.
Yeah.
It's an ear guard. It's
Yes.
not for boxing, you know. But some of them can box. Some of them can box. I was watching it. I was like, oh wow, some of them can box. Pero you know, it gives attention to the sport. That's a good thing because you know, boxing is sort of not a lot of people are watching boxing as much unless it's Manny, unless it's somebody is a big
Yeah.
fight. Now, as far as pop culture, it's like celebrity deathmatch. It's fun. It's funny. You know?
Beses na nagsasabi that someone will always say that it's celebrity deathmatch coming to
Dude.
life. Diba?
Dude,
No, I
that's what
totally
it
agree. We
is.
totally agree. Yeah.
Pero
Kasi-
maganda sana if they go to camp. Alam mo yun, yung
real fight camp.
may certain period sila maybe train with a legend like Mike Tyson or train with them para makita nila and make a documentary out of it. That the lesson and the hardship of boxing or MMA. Di ba? Hindi yung
Additional
shortcut ka
drama,
agad.
no?
Parang the lines get a little bit, since they're trying to cross over to combat sports. And I think you kind of answered half of the question. Yes, it's good for boxing. Yes, you also answered how, because it's going to put a lot of eyes to the sport. Pero how, is there a way, or ano ba to? Is it just a matter of time wherein these entertainers are going to do the exact same thing that you just narrated, that they're going to reach out to actual fighters. They're going to reach out
mean,
to actual
that-
boxers, diba?
That would be great if they do, you know, if they sort of put some respect level. Because I know there's a celebrity boxing league that's been existing for many, many years. There's a celebrity boxing league in the US. And siguro, I don't know, it's been around for 10 years or more. Different celebrities, whether it's Tanya Harding, lahat ng mga yan. Pero if they get the older coaches to have work, great.
Yeah.
You know, great.
Yeah.
Go be it. But put respect to the sport. Hindi yung
Yes.
last minute, they'll sign up and then do that and then do
Alam mo
that.
yun
Parang-
nga eh.
You know.
Kaya nadadilute yung ano eh. Feeling ko yun yung dahilan ba't nadadilute yung sport eh. Ayan, si JC, daming research ni JC.
Yeah.
Pero parang
what can you
years ago,
say?
di ba, you engaged with that
Yeah.
kind of setup, di ba? So, kasi people are saying na celebrity fights, these YouTuber versus ex-pros are bad for boxing. Pero in reality, pag titingnan mo, it's really not.
The way we trained. Puta, parang kami turista, man. Nakatira kami sa barak sa mga abak, dude. Ay, hindi biro, man. We were training for that. And it was high stakes. You were fighting for $1 million. You were fighting for a car. We were fighting for a house. And we really took it seriously. Now, amateur rules, which was tricky on our time. The first one, which was mano mano. Now, Warriors was sort of a semi-pro rule. So medyo iba. They could hit you with an open glove, whatever, whatnot. But we were training for real. Kasi yung kinuha nilang mga kasali, nagbo-boxing talaga. So,
which is good.
It's good for the ano. And then yung undercard namin, yun yung entertainment. Yun yung sila. Si RIP, Blackjack, sila Earl, and sino pa ba? Jeffrey Tam. Di ba? That's like the funny side of things. Pero yeah, we were really fighting, man.
That's the better setup for celebrity boxing events, ano? Parang dapat may mga celebrities who are actually trained tapos undercard na parang fights lang. Yeah.
And that would be it. Pero the reason for this sa US, other than of course pandemic entertainment, why they're doing this, kasi HBO no longer has boxing. You know, and
that's true.
And where can you watch boxing? PBC, Showtime. But not
Thriller
everybody.
at the Zone.
Yeah.
Diba? Yun lang. And with Canelo being sort of in limbo with contracts, nobody to fight, fights take so long. Yeah. Diba? So where are you gonna go?
Yeah.
Doon ka sa pop culture, diba? It's not. Yeah. It's like food. It's like fast food. It's not healthy fast for food. You. But it's good. You know what I mean? It
makes you happy for 5 minutes.
It gets you through hunger. I mean, Kim Kardashian and Amanda Nunes. Wouldn't you watch it? Hell yeah.
No?
Would be
crazy. Absolutely.
You know what's gonna happen, pero we are going to watch. Like Logan Paul Mayweather. Everyone says that it was gonna be a Mayweather spectacle of just showcasing whatever he's good at. Ako honestly feeling ko talaga hindi siya nag-ensayo dun eh. Di ba? He
was just petics lang.
Yeah, petics lang, di ba? Kasi if he wanted to hit Logan Paul, he was hitting him.
Yeah. Right? But there was a video that he clipped Logan Paul, tapos he helped him up.
Yeah.
Bumagsak talaga si Logan Paul doon eh. Aksidente niya na knock out si Logan Paul and he had to wake him up.
Diba? So, I mean, they gotta keep the train, the Logan Paul, the Paul brothers train going. So, kaya si Tyrone Woodley, medyo, I might bet against him.
That's a good idea.
Because the brother can punch. The brother can punch.
Well, Jake can fight. He can
as much as I don't like Jake Paul, he can punch. And he can take a punch.
And if you see the mitt work of Tyrone Woodley, hindi siya full range.
Yeah.
His mitts are baby stuff. And there's not a lot of head movements. You know, so
sobrang limited. That's why I keep reminding people that Woodley is a wrestler with knockout power. He's not really a boxer. And and everything that Jake Paul is doing is so aligned with what he really wants for the future. Parang this is like his grand plan to showcase like boxing, di ba? Against other sports. And then yun nga, meron siyang future plans of having his own fight promotion. So we'll see how that goes. Now, if we go back here locally, have you heard or have you watched any of the local Sabong International boxing events?
I saw Sabong online.
Oh yeah, di ba?
Did you like it?
Sabong International, mga YouTuber versus...
Yeah, they're sponsoring
They started with one-on-one basketball. Now it's one-on-one boxing.
Mas may pera daw dun.
YouTubers.
I mean, as long as people are watching, then great. Pero alam mo yung as dekalidad naman sa sport. Kasi maganda dyan pag may ganyan is that you provide work for the referees.
Yeah.
The ring people. True. Remember, these referees and these cornermen trainers, they're not very young. So they need all the money. Medyo hirap buhay eh. Diba?
Totoo yan.
Now, as far as the fighting aspect is concerned, great if they fight, if they go on YouTube, pero not too much heat. Not too much trash talking, if you ask me. I mean, I trash talk, yes, pero
pero you have to back it up kasi. That's the problem.
Back it up. Pero kung yung, like, I was watching yung sa UFC, the Italian guy, he's just hilarious, man. That guy's
Yeah.
Vettori.
and
Si Vettori.
kakatawa sila na parang the people that are watching the sport and watching WWE, parang nagiging ganun yung dating. Parang
Yeah.
yung respect as a martial artist, the true discipline of the sport, yun yung nawawala.
Diba? Just like our previous episode, I asked my co-host here, siguro ikaw, you can definitely chime in on this na parang, is it, so, nag-shift na ba tayo? Are we heading towards a paradigm shift wherein you have to be popular first and then do the craft? Or can you still be good at something and then get popular from it?
Well, it all boils down to people who watch the Olympics. You know, are you gunning for the gold medal? The reason why you get the gold medal is prestigious. Now, if you don't get the gold medal, you take your shortcuts. So, paano ko papanoorin ng tao? Who is this person that I'm watching? Then you create that character. But if you have a very successful amateur career, people will be excited to watch you. That you don't even have to sell yourself.
Yes.
Give you an example. Andre Ward. He doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
I never heard Andre Ward talk crap. You know what I mean? But his fight sells. You know, because he's an Olympic gold medalist. The same thing. So it boils down to that, to the amateur roots of the fighter.
We are going to UFC 263. We'll start with the main cards na. Kami ni Carl kanina, we were able to watch it. I think JC and Rico got to see the main cards.
Yung
Pero
Diaz
grabe
na,
to.
naabangan ko
Yung
yung Diaz.
kanina, so we'll start
Diaz
with
na.
a light heavyweight bout between Paul Craig versus
Oh, man.
Jamal Hill. So for those who
yung
were
nabalian,
able
no?
to watch this, if you make sure that you're not eating or you're not
Do
kasi
not. Yeah.
this
Pasintabi
Paul
po.
Craig, so basically what happened was Paul Craig, on one of the rare occasions wherein someone pulled guard on an MMA fight. So barely siya nangyayari ngayon, but Paul Craig was very confident with his jiu-jitsu, so went for an overhook on one arm, dragged him down, butterfly guard, and then Jamal Hill stood up, okay, as you should, started raining bombs. However, the overhook hand ni Paul Craig, he was able to gain control of that arm. So he was able to neutralize and then isolate that arm. However, what the beautiful sequence was, he made Jamal think that he was going to attack that arm, but he went for the opposite side. What do you call this? He went for the opposite side arm and then did an opposite side arm bar. So nag-spin siya. So he was basically getting the right hand. So he was dragging this down. The moment the other hand was trying to help, he snatched the other hand, did an arm bar on that side. Sobrang ganda ng sequence.
Great
Sobrang ganda.
transition.
It was a good transition talaga. So did the belly down arm bar. From the belly down arm bar, I said,
Wala pa.
I was watching, I go like, okay,
Wow.
arm snaps. Like the table next to me goes like, then I was watching kasi. I was watching, my head was this, I was like, okay, arm snaps. Then they all went
Hindi
like,
daw pala,
huh?
coach.
Huh?
Hindi daw pala. Nag-ano lang, dislocate lang.
Oh,
Yes,
they
it's
don't know.
right, yeah.
Sobrang siya. So he was trying to defend. He was trying to get his wrist up on the same arm. Then I said, wala na, bali na yan.
Oh, it was
So
flopping,
the ref,
right?
yeah, the
No,
referee
it was like Jello. It was Jello like that.
yeah, so the referee wasn't able to see it, so he was allowing the fight to continue. Paul Craig transitioned to a triangle. So from the triangle, he was still elbowing him from the bottom. So sabi ko, ba't hindi pa pinipigil ng referee? Baka hindi niya napansin.
Hindi napansin,
Now,
oh.
yeah, dyan na ngayon, yung sinabi ni Carl tsaka ni Rico, the arm was dangling kasi dislocated na talaga. As in, bali. So, nagdadangle siya, akala nung referee nagtatap si Jamal Hill.
Jamal.
Pinakita dun sa instant replay. Jello hands talaga. Akala niya nagtatap na.
Waving.
Sabi ko, dapat nakita. Pero hindi rin eh. The referee was following the rules na, Jamal Hill was just toughening it out. He didn't really tap. Syempre, if the fighter didn't tap, and he can still defend himself, he can still continue, itutuloy ng referee yun.
Nagja-jackery situation siya, di ba?
I mean, what do
Nanalo
you
siya
feel
dun eh. That's the
when
thing.
it's like that? Ano nararamdaman
When
niyo
it comes to an
after-
armbar, especially when you're either rolling or you're in competition, we call it the rule of fives. So if it's one pop, you're still good. 2 pops, okay. 3 pops, you have to ice it. 4, 5, it's broken. Normally that's so you'll hear 5 pops.
It's like
It's like a clicking sound. It's like a clicking sound.
It's like
Yeah.
I can make a rule of 5 bilang lalaki. 1 pop you're good, 2 pop you're good, 5 pop. Tatay ka na. Sorry.
Exactly.
5 pops, dura-dura na lang yan. 5 pops, tuyo ka na.
Tulog. So, ano ang feeling nun?
When you
actually
snap your
won't.
knuckles,
Hindi, it's like snapping your knuckles. Maririnig mo siya. As in, mararamdaman mo siya pa like, the farthest I had was 3. Merong nakita ko 5 seconds, na armbar ako, sabi ko, puta, titiisin ko to. Click, click, click. Nung pangatlo, sabi ko, kaya pa to. Pero kinabukasan, nakaganon ako sa yelo yung buong gabi. So,
I mean, how do you train for that when it comes to talagang planks or mental exercises to not tap out when it comes to arm bars?
when it comes to not tapping
Adrenaline,
out,
I guess.
it's a combination of adrenaline and accumulation of
ego,
training
I guess.
and brainwashing from your coaches when your coaches tell
Kaya
you
pa
not.
yan.
Yan, when they say, pero
Coach, tagal na, coach.
depende yan sa tao. There are people who will say na it's not worth it. Then there are people.
Yeah.
That's why when I don't expect my teammates or fellow competitors to have that crazy mindset as I did, or at least the people. Like for example, medyo mali rin siya. I always tell them, this is something that I did, but I'm telling you it's not right. Like for example, both my feet are popped already kasi footlock. I'm like, fuck no. Sabi ko, kunin mo yung pako, kunin ko yung leg mo. Ganon. Isipin mo lagi, trade-off. Okay, sige, you get my foot,
I'll give
I'm gonna
you
break
this.
your elbow. Yan, So, pero later on din kasi the evolution, especially of jiu-jitsu, is just really, really good. People are able to isolate limbs at a higher level. Dati kasi, when you get a foot, you can still stand up. Ngayon, there are so many biomechanical factors na you can't stand up, you cannot roll out. The level of control has improved.
Yeah.
So, it's a true testament to the evolution of technique. So, ngayon, kung wala na lang din talagang choice, iisipin mo na lang, lalo na nun, especially when I started getting more active. So, for example, in a year, I'll probably compete 5-6 times a year. So, if someone gets me, I go like, okay, bigay mo na kasi pwede ka naman bumawi sa susunod na tournament.
So you have like 5 more tournaments to go.
Yeah, you got 5 more tournaments to go. So, might as well, di ba? Might as well just let this one go na. So, it's just a matter of that. Pero, in terms of the actual feeling, you won't really feel it eh. Maririnig mo lang. You're aware. Parang click, click, click.
Lala ko lang,
Pero
coach,
dahil-
yung sa...
Pero dahil adrenaline
Arte
ka pa eh. May adrenaline ka pa eh. Yan. Ayan, sila Kurt at si JC, Rico. They saw something in
Grabe
Arte
yun.
Suave Manila. Sin wild.
Tanggalin hita, ano yari?
Hindi, balikat naman.
Balikat.
So the
nagpop.
guy, he got him in a kimura, so the arm was behind. So he was
Chicken
trying
wing.
to warrior it out. Tapos talaga nakabantay kami ni Joey. Sabi ko,
Oo.
sinasabihan na namin siya. Kasi nakadikit kami dalawa. Sinasabi ko, kung pag masakit, itap mo na. Pag masakit, tap it out. Talaga wina-warrior yet. Tignan niyo yung
Oo.
shota niya. Maya-maya, rinig sa buong mall. Click! Kasi
Tsaka sobrang intense nung match.
gumanon
Everybody
siya,
was
ganun.
watching it.
Everybody was
watching it.
Isipin mo yung e-commerce center sa Alabang was so quiet nung nangyari yun.
Oh,
sorry,
Everybody was waiting for what's gonna happen next. Tapos bigla nag-pop.
The
Just
eerie,
imagine, 300
the eerie sound.
people pare nagganunan lahat. Tapos ako para yung mukha ko gumano na lang ako. Sabi ko.
Ano sabi ng girlfriend nung na-snap? Ano sabi ng girlfriend?
Wala,
Hindi mo pala
tumahimik. Hindi mo pala kaya. Sabi niya, sabi niya,
Oh my God.
Pero Chong, ganun din yung arm niya afterward.
Yeah.
Oh, jelly.
Nakaganon.
Ano yung masakit doon yung yung hindi yung recovery, yung gastos recovery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's something
Definitely.
that
Then the next one
referee
was
spot conflicts, yeah.
Damian
Before we
Maia
go to the
versus-
next one pala.
Go.
merong sa early prelims, merong muntik maka-break sa record ni Ben Askren.
Early knockout.
7
Yeah.
second
5
knockout
seconds.
Muntikan na eh. Si
It was,
Terrence McKinney versus Matt Frivola.
jab straight lang.
7 seconds.
Jab straight lang?
Napatweet nga si Jorge Masvidal na almost.
Street cred, di ba?
And what was so funny about that fight is that 7 seconds jab straight. Tapos celebrate siya. And I think he pulled his ACL. He messed up his knee upon celebrating. He went up on the cage and he jumped
like
down.
a Johnny Walker
Jump
moment.
down.
He
When I see fighters like jump up the cage, tas yung iba nagba-backflip pa pabalik.
Tapos
Medyo
hindi
mini heart attack ako dyan, ha. Kasi sa URCC nangyari yan eh. I forgot kung si Sabiniano to or si basta some Yaoyan fighter.
Okay.
Nanalo siya.
Si Castigo.
So nanalo siya, tapos nag-backflip siya. After niya mag-backflip or lumundag siya from the top rope, tangina afterwards di-declare, tangina iika-ika siya. Tapos umupo siya sa sahig. Sabi mo, sakit tuhod ko. Sabi ko, oh no! The following day, nalaman namin ACL. Sumabog yung ACL.
Oh, shoot.
Kita ko si Idol, ginawa sa TV yun eh. Din.
Di ba kaya ako, yung okay lang yung tatakbo, yung uupo sa taas ng cage, tapos tatalo na. Pero hindi, yung iba kasi, they just have to do a backflip. Di ba?
Guys, you remember Justin Gaethje? He did it thrice. Kasi he couldn't get it right the first two. He was pushing the referee. Teka.
I'm gonna get this right.
Gotta get this right, man.
Diba?
The
The next one was a little
Chandler.
bit, sobrang uneventful to. Nakakalungkot. Ako medyo nalungkot ako ng slightly to. So it's Belal Muhammad versus Damian Maia. So Belal Muhammad is the guy whose eye got poked by Leon Edwards. Kaya tinigil nila. So accidentally. So Damian Maia, this was probably Damian Maia's last fight. So depende
Sabi rin ni Dana
raw.
White sa post-fight, mukhang last na ni Damian Maia.
So it was super uneventful. Sayang, Damian Maia just kept going for a single leg. He was really trying to take Belal down. However, Belal Muhammad really had good footwork. He used lateral movement to get away from the takedowns. The first 2 rounds were really good for Damian Maia kasi he was getting the leg, he was pinning him against the cage. However, he wasn't really showing any significant amount of striking. Talagang pure jiu-jitsu lang din talaga. Sayang.
Yeah.
So, with what I've noticed lang, with especially this pandemic, with the Apex and all that, and all the different fight islands, most of the older fighters that had a lot of fights in their mileage, parang mentally they're burnt out. If you look at it, Damian Maia,
Actually.
Cowboy Cerrone, Tony Ferguson, these guys look Nate Diaz, diba? They all look mentally burnt out. Like
Parang hindi sila sanay na konti lang yung fights nila in a year. Parang ganon din eh.
Parang it really got into their headspace na Tsaka it's an accumulation of doing certain things in a particular way, and then all of a sudden now you have so many restrictions, you have so many added procedures. Minsan your ability to adapt, to adapt, and your ability to adjust. Like for example, dati you can go to any gym. Now it has to be an approved gym, or you only have so and so training partners. Whereas dati you can go to any gym and anybody and everybody can be your
Madali
training
mag-cross-train
partner.
before.
Sobrang dali. Diba? Ngayon, this is where the younger fighters thrive because they from a scattered environment, they were able to narrow down everything. Like for example, they used to go to big classes, then all of a sudden they realized, it can just be me, my coach, and like 3 other guys.
Yeah.
and sharpen the skills.
And sharpen the skill sets that they have. So yun, so for veterans talaga, they need variety. For up-and-comers and young fighters, they need polishing. They really need polishing.
Yeah.
Yan ang emphasis ng mga up-and-comers.
Yeah.
So, that is a very good observation. As in,
One of the
I
most,
totally agree.
One of the most well-adjusted younger fighters, si Max Holloway. No? Remember, he practiced jiu-jitsu sa Zoom.
Oo, tsaka lahat
He
ng
did
boot
not
camp
spar.
He didn't spar.
was on Zoom.
Yeah.
But he was living in an island din kasi. He's living in an island, and then he's all throughout his career in Oahu, he's had the same training partners ever since.
The same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tsaka ako, there's like a small part of me that says na, I don't think there's just no way you didn't go to the gym. Like, come on, you're all in an island. Okay, you're all in an island.
Who would find out, di ba?
I mean,
gonna snitch, di ba?
I mean, the secret of Max Holloway is spam. He just eats
Yeah.
spam. That's it.
Oh, he eats spam.
Spam
Diba?
Musubi.
And plays a lot of video games. So, diba? There's some
secret
He also
Yeah.
surfs a lot with this girl,
Yeah.
diba?
That's what it is.
So I don't really think na it was just na probably sasabihin lang niya, no, it was all Zoom. It's all no, like dude,
Oh, man.
your training partners, your coaches were your boys since you were a kid. So it's impossible that you say that you all hang out almost every other day. You spend weekends together. It's impossible that you didn't train with them. Like, come on.
Small ka, si John Tak.
Diba?
Diba? Yung mga trauma yan, man.
Oh, diba? Don't me. Don't me. alam na yan. Sabi ko kahit anong fight camp, imposibleng walang nangyaring drilling dyan. I mean, sobrang ganda ng timing mo. Sobrang ganda ng footwork mo. Tsaka, imposible. Oh. Nung nakita ko ito, like, wala. Pang-promo to. Okay, next. The comeback after 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, parang mga
I'm
ganun,
like,
2+ years.
Nate Diaz is back, and he fought Leon Edwards.
You know, with this fight, I felt that, well, I know that Nate Diaz was injured. So he had a cut. Kaya his motivation wasn't there. If you see his fight, he was just trying to go for one big shot, getting dizzy in the last few seconds before the match
fighting
ends.
to survive lang, no?
To create an impression. Because I think he wants to get that Conor fight. You know, so if he was to win and beat Edwards, Conor wouldn't fight him. So, benta mo ng konti yung laro, bagsakan ng konti, okay, stats, whatever. I get to smoke out on TV and promote my new weed company. Yes, a new weed company.
Yes.
So, promo
He
for
was
that.
smoking up until before the fight.
Yeah, even the post conference, right? Kasi sa Arizona yata, may rules sila
Illegal,
na okay lang eh.
2 days lang ata. 2 days prior.
So if he loses here, he has a better shot of getting Conor. Kasi kay Dustin and Conor, then kung ano man mangyari doon, pwede pa sila maglaban ni Conor. May storyline pa, there's money.
And I really think that it's a good money fight for both of them.
That's true. Money in the literal sense, it's whiskey versus kush.
Yeah. Hindi mo pag bumili ka ng ticket sa laban, may pack ka, whiskey.
Combo meal.
May blunt ka, tapos meron kang shot glass, okay, meron kang lata na pwede ka rin uminom. Diba? Ako, I feel the same way. Talaga, it was a 5-round demolition of Nate Diaz. Up until the 5th round.
The fifth round.
Up until the 5th, the storyline was like, this was a display of skill sets for Leon Edwards. He was good on the ground. He was good in striking. He was good as advertised. It's a huge reason why a lot of people are avoiding him in the division. Kaso nga lang talaga is not really that marketable up until this fight. Diba? He was winning. He was looking good. Diba?
Yes.
It was the story of the calf kicks. Kami nga ni Carl Cayen, nag-uusap kami. Tsaka nila JC, sabi ko, it's still the calf kicks, di ba?
Calf kicks.
Hindi pa rin.
Still the age of calf
hindi ko
Hindi
mag-gets.
nawawala. Kasi staple
That's
na talaga siya.
Yun yung sayang kay Nate Diaz eh. He's still at an age wherein he can still fight. However, hindi nagbabago yung training methodologies
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Hindi naman kailangan magbago. Hindi siya nag-improve.
Yes.
Hindi siya nag-improve.
Well, you know, I think his style has always been smoke out, run, ride bikes, join triathlons, and then that's I'm amazed as well when he boxes. He still has the reflex. You know what I mean, and all that. 'Cause most of the time you'll be zombie boxing is what they call it. Na sabog ka pero tatama ka lang reflex, not a lot of hit. Diba?
Baka mas indie ka yung ano niya, bro. Hindi kayong tinitingnan niya kapag ganun.
Pero ano talaga, sayang. But I mean, makita mo rin naman sa embedded tsaka sa countdown, his camp really didn't change, di ba? He didn't really try.
Scrap back, di ba? We were talking about
Scrap back pa rin. Di ba? He didn't
Same.
really get enough wrestlers. He didn't get enough jiu-jitsu guys. Kasi, I mean, the sport is evolving. The techniques are evolving. So if you are still doing what you were doing year 2000, di ba? Wala. Everyone's gonna get your number. Everyone's gonna gun you. Sayang, there were so many instances wherein he was able to get the foot. He was getting out of brambles. Sobrang wild lang talaga. Sobrang wild lang talaga ng 5th round. Na parang yun yung sumira kay Leon. For me, that destroyed Leon Edwards.
And
in terms of marketability, diba? It's like one slap and one punch. If you look at the replay, he slapped him and then punched him. Tapos he wobbled his legs. I was like, oh man, wala.
But see, look at that.
Nag-relax
4 rounds, Leon Edwards showed good fighting. Then 1 round, it still went to Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz, yeah.
For a ticket buyer, you'll remember Nate Diaz.
Na siya.
Yeah.
Oy,
Actually, championship round si maalala.
Fernando po Jr., di ba?
Fernando po, diba? It's like, parang bugbog ng 4 rounds, no? Tapos biglang
gising.
Pero yung laban del tell something about Leon Edwards. Technically, 8-fight win streak siya, minus the no contest kay Belal Muhammad. Yung performance niya is not enough to get a rematch against Kamaru Usman. Mamamatay siya doon.
Okay,
kakainin siya ng buhay.
Ako rin parang wala.
Kakainin siya ng buhay ni Kamaru Usman.
I don't see anybody at the level of Usman right now.
Hey, Usman, he got power, man. He got power now. You know what I mean? So,
especially since he changed camps, man.
Tapos yun nga, Nate Diaz said nga rin na he got cut during training. Then he was back. I mean that whole Conor McGregor angle na sinabi ni Rico is like, that is one of the like better angles to look at it. Kasi Nate started as a fighter's fighter. Then eventually along the way, he realized, hey, I can fight for money now. Diba? I don't really need a belt. Diba? I don't need no belt, diba? Parang
journeyman.
Parang after the Conor fight, yun realized na parang people are willing to watch me fight whether I win or lose as long as na I like, do my character, diba?
More dispensaries. Ganun. More dispensaries. So ganun lang yun.
Just imagine him or McGregor versus Jorge Masvidal or diba Covington versus Conor.
It could be for the BMF belt. Kasi
alam mo yung BMF belt na yan. Yung BMF belt na yan.
What the hell is it for?
Yun nga Sinabi rin ni JC dati. Parang, is it gonna be on the line?
Ako rin, yung interim belt. What's the interim belt for? It confuses the shit out of me. You know what I mean? What's it for? Diba? So, do you toss it aside? That's why that would have been cool kung yung sa BMF, it would be Steve Austin kesa si The Rock. Hindi ko naintindihan bakit si The Rock.
Mas Hollywood mas Hollywood kasi si The Rock.
I guess mas sellable si The Rock. I don't know.
Diba? Feeling ko talaga dapat kung si Rock yun, dapat may USADA testing din si The Rock. If you're gonna be part of this organization, you're gonna be holding that. So like, can we like...
Yan nata yung 5 pops din.
Oo, dapat gano'n. Dapat doon malalaman 5 times. Tapos 10 years down the line, they're going to look at the P again, and then they'll probably find different Mexican supplements. Diba? Parang hindi pa nakikita. Diba? Wild Pero sayang, Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards just delivered. It was really nice.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that I saw Nate Diaz inside the octagon again. And everyone was just parang feeling ko talaga a huge chunk of the fans that went inside that arena was there for Nate Diaz. As in, talo siya pero siya cheer.
But he's so quiet na, pati din sa press con, di ba? Pero they asked him, why not talking? He goes, that's already a show right there. I'm good.
He's getting smart. Actually, for me, he's getting smart. He's
do you think,
he knows na may
affected si, di ba na-point out mo kanina ako, si Nick wala na sa corner, di ba? Nanonood na lang.
Oo nga, nandun siya, parang
You guys
nakaupo
think
lang
it's
siya doon.
affected? Oh,
Pero nandun din sa gilid, like, there were dugout shots wherein he was
nandun si
drilling
Nate.
with Nate.
The beginning,
I don't know. I don't know what's with Nick Diaz anymore. It's he's either accepted his fate or he's at another crossroads. Kasi with all the regulations about CBD and THC, parang iniisip ano ba, nabubuhayan ba siya ng loob ngayon to fight or wala na, ayaw niya na, di ba?
He's preparing for Logan Paul and Jake Paul. They're all preparing for them. So
The Diaz brothers versus the Paul brothers.
Right?
I want to see
I would pay for that.
Yes.
We will watch that. We will
Yes.
cover
I would
that.
say just for the trolling,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Let's see the Paul brothers try to troll the scrap pack, di ba?
No.
Wala.
Tingnan natin sila
Talaga, rambulan
And
sa
those guys
press
can
con
box,
to.
man. Those
Yeah.
guys can
Oh,
box.
yeah.
So that's
The Paul
money.
brothers are very athletic. They're very
They are.
athletic.
No,
Except
but
the Diaz brothers
The
are
Diaz
like-
brothers
The Diaz
can
brothers,
box.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
These
Yeah,
brothers
yeah.
can box talaga.
You
So
know.
that
Diba,
would be
at some
good
point-
for na he wants to knock out Nate Diaz daw. I was like, okay.
Okay.
That's a nice one.
Let's count the Stockton slaps on that match, ha?
As in nag-tweet siya na parang I'm gonna knock out Nate after I knock out Tyrone.
That dude be crazy,
sorry.
man.
Gandang yun. Gandang build-up yun. If yung press con pa lang nun, holy shit. And if they make it like Conor and Mayweather yung naka-tour, that's
Alam mo,
that's
a huge promoter should get that fight. Kasi
Oscar
clearly-
De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya.
You guys know what he wanted to
favorite
do?
guy ni JC yun.
Favorite guy
Oscar
ni
De La
JC.
That is
Hoya.
JC's boy. That is
JC maglalagay daw siya ng power bar, parang video games.
He's
Weird.
planning to do that now
Pero-
sa Thriller.
He's going to do that now. Grabe.
My goodness. He's a funny
If I
guy,
could
man.
just imagine
Yeah,
the
di ba
press
si
tour
Oscar
of that
is
fight.
planning to fight under Thriller yata?
Yeah, ang deal dun, I think they're trying to get GSP, pero ayaw ni Dana White. So it could
Oo nga,
be
parang.
it could be Chris Algieri. It could be him that will be fighting Oscar De La Hoya. That's still a
At least
conversation
legit
in the
boxer.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it could be Chris Algieri.
Pero grabe, no? Si Oscar parang nainggit ka dahil yung mga legends parang nagbabalikan, di ba?
FOMO,
Ultimo si
FOMO.
Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. parang, sige, I'm gonna lay down the coke for now. Di ba?
Hey, you know what I'm afraid of? It's speaking of Cesar Chavez, I'm afraid for Anderson Silva. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And-
he's fighting Junior.
Yeah, and Junior, man, he could be smoking out so much, a little bit slow on everything, pero he has power. So,
Yeah,
and Anderson
ganun pa rin
Silva, medyo marupok ang chin. We all know that.
Oh,
you know, so
Tsaka he's not a boxer. Si
Yeah.
Junior,
But
talaga nag-boxing.
he had a pro boxing career. Anderson
Yeah.
Silva had a pero jab
Anderson
lang.
Silva, the pro boxing career?
Yeah, he had a pro boxing career.
For a
I think
while.
he fought, 5 yata or below, pero jabber lang siya. He just likes to move around and jab. That's all he does. So he doesn't throw any straights or anything.
This is entertainment boxing na, diba? This is entertainment
Yeah.
sports. Diba? You really have to catch people's attention because you want them to pay for the kasi it's not like not unless they're gonna do it in an arena, diba?
Yeah.
Na may audience. Nakakatuwa nga natutuwa ako when I see an audience now. I have a better appreciation of watching a crowd.
Pero ang kagandahan sa mga fights, imagine if it's all these bubblegum fights, YouTube fights, and all that stuff, is that they're using bigger gloves. So somehow the people organizing it are aware of the concussions and everything. It's just they got to get them officiating properly. Yeah,
so make them go through camp para sulit din, di ba?
Yeah.
Para sulit.
May footage, di ba? May 24/7, di ba? May build up.
Oh, actually content din 'yun, di ba?
Yeah.
Kung ano lang din talaga tayo, content na lang na mundo. This is really good content. And speaking of the crowd, the other half of the crowd who attended this live event is actually cheering for the next fight. Deiveson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. Like a huge
ang
chunk
ganda
of
niya.
that
That
crowd
one
was
I
apparently
love.
Mexican pala. As in predominantly Mexican crowd. So it was a really, really
That was
fast-paced.
a good one.
That was a really good fight.
He looks like David Archuleta. Sorry.
True.
He looks like. Pero ano yun sobrang, when a friend was asking me who am I betting for, medyo kinabahan ako ng konti because in a way that Moreno was actually saying I could take the punches of Figueiredo. Is it Figueiredo? That's how you say his last name?
Yeah,
So I could take the punches. So maybe I'm willing to take the punch. You know what I mean? To get it. Pero what was the plot twist was, sinadmit niya. Kasi Figueiredo was waiting for him to box. Was waiting for him to just strike the whole time. No takedown. That was a surprise in that camp. Because Figueiredo, if you notice, he's more muscular now. Because I think he trained to box and he trained to strike. That's what he prepared for. Nagulat siya dito sa submission game nitong isa that he wasn't expecting. So
that was good. That was good.
Yeah. Really good scrambles, di ba, Coach?
Sobra. As in, I was like, I also had Figueiredo on this one because yun nga, he had a really good performance. The very first time that they met, it was a really good performance. And I was only attributing that draw to his quick turnaround because he fought previously. I was expecting him to like turn it up a notch. Kasi if you couldn't dispose this guy, diba, you have to you have to amp up your training. And then I was also counting on the fact that Moreno is this. Admittedly, I had little information about Brandon Moreno. I just know that he was the guy who almost got cut. He wasn't really winning before. Yeah, then all of a sudden, this was his breakout fight. Diba? He started winning, pero small bout siya, small name fighters, and then he took this shot. He used that momentum and opened up a lot of opportunities for him. He's now the UFC Espanol correspondent.
But sabi mo nga, may star power siya. Charming.
Good looking guy. So, and it's a chance. Sige, go ahead.
Hindi, ako kasi nakita ko lang na parang, okay, it's either this will create more distraction for Moreno kasi now you're appearing on so many media outlets representing the UFC and then you still need to train. And then all of a sudden, parang nakita ko na lang na, he moved to Vegas, he created a small training bubble. I think that made him focus. I think he saw the benefits of what he was enjoying right now and he channeled it properly. So come fight night, he was actually smarter. Yun nga. So everyone thought that it was going to be a striking battle. He went after the scrambles. He knew that he had an advantage on the scrambles, especially in the jiu-jitsu or in the grappling area. Actually, itong gabing to, no, this was a huge display of jiu-jitsu for almost, if not all fighters.
But if you were to look at it too as well, that fight, mentally, Moreno already won it because what he did is he was more vocal, he was more outspoken. What he did is he pissed him off. So when a fighter's pissed off, he's not going to go to jiu-jitsu. He's going to try to smash him and strike him. And then pulled off the surprise. So that's what happened there, So he pulled off that submission surprise that he wasn't expecting. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Super clean execution. It was during the clinch, shoulder shock, went for the back, actually jumped into the back. So when he got the back, clear seat belt, he was able to take him down. Once they were on the ground, automatic body triangle. So after body triangle, he was able to secure the position. What I liked about that sequence was he was very, very patient. There was a lot of hand fighting going on. He tried several submissions. We'll get to hand fighting on the next bout. Pero he maintained good control, good hand fighting. He did a lot of sobrang dami scrambles yun. If you watch he got the structure here, he was getting the hand out, switched to the other side. Kinounter niya yun.
Kala ko tapos na yun nung nakakuha niya yung body triangle. Shit!
Pero ang galing din ni Figueiredo. Maganda yung presence of mind niya during that sobrang pressure yun yung ganong klaseng setup. Sobrang laki yun. Yun yung sinasabi ni Joe Rogan na parang he was okay. And then halfway through nag-sink in na sa kanya. He just started crying. Diba? Cry talaga David Archuleta niya ngayon.
David Archuleta, man. And nagulat nga ako, nung lumabas yung mga anak na may kids na siya. Kala ko is like 21 or 20. Yung pala yung 3 kids.
Babyface talaga.
Babyface assassin lang din talaga. In such a stacked division, diba? There's just they're bound to meet each other again. Feeling ko talaga down the
who
line.
do you think is
Figueiredo-
next for him? Who do you think is next for? Do you think he should do a trilogy? Do you think it's worth a trilogy?
Wanna see Triple C come back and fight
Come back, yeah.
Yeah.
Good one.
But he's enjoying his fourth C.
Oh.
The championship marriage.
It'll be interesting how Triple C would fare against Brandon Moreno now. Now everybody has improved since he retired. How
That's true.
Traditional Chicano fighting, right? It's like
Yeah.
step up, I'll take it, you take it, that kind of thing. So
For all we know, they could be yung 'di ba big fight sa boxing, Mexican versus Mexican kadalasan. Ito naman MMA. Pira.
Mexican versus
it
Mexican.
happened.
Yeah.
It could happen. Let's see. It's like Julio, Barrera versus
Morales, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parang ganyan.
Could be billed
It's
as
a
that.
very stacked division and para I think i-confirm pa nila or confirmed na ba na Brandon Moreno is the first Mexican-born
I think he is.
UFC champion.
I think he is.
Diba?
We were talking about that kanina, coach, kasi si Kane, sabi ko, di ba Mexican si Kane, di pala? American
Ano
pala.
siya, immigrant Ano siya, lumaki siya sa
Immigrante.
States ata. So you got Brandon Moreno, then apparently if you look at the rankings, so it's Askar Askarov, Alexander
That would be a good one,
Pantoja,
man.
Alex Perez, Joseph Benavides, Brandon Royval, Kai France. Ayan, ito si
one is good.
si
Kai.
Royval and Kai France are really good. These guys
Yeah.
are really good. Askarov is a beast.
Yeah.
Parang
dude is big, man.
hindi siya maingay pero nakakatakot na fighter ito.
One of those Russian guys na ano.
It's like mga Ruslan Promodnikov, mga ganun sa
Yeah.
boxing. Yung mga,
parang
yung
pag pangalan
mo.
pa lang
Pangalan pa lang
delikado tayo
medyo.
dito mukhang delikado tayo dito.
Bad for your health.
Oh.
Yeah,
Diba? So,
Pangalan pa lang na trash talk ka na.
medyo dami ring killer sa ano na to. Dami ring
Flyweight,
delikado
man,
si ano dito. It's gonna be
Benavides
interesting.
lang yung medyo duda ako eh. Kasi dami niya ng talo.
Hindi, Benavides naman kasi ano na eh.
It's a big name,
Sobrang
big
veterano na siya eh. Oh,
Yeah.
veterano
Tagal
na. 'Di ba? Para sa akin si Benavides panalo na sa buhay yan. So
Winning in life.
kahit ano mangyari, whatever happens. Whatever happens,
Make it
bro.
with
Whatever
it.
happens.
We are with you, brother.
And then we go to the main event of the evening, Israel Adesanya
No
versus
surprise,
Marvin
man.
Vettori.
No surprises.
My God.
Oh, JC, nung nagkukwentuhan tayo, sige, ano observation mo dyan?
Parang wala eh. Tsaka ang ganda nung transitions ni Israel na ng ano niya, kicks niya. High low, tas may calf kicks pa rin talaga eh. Calf kicks talaga. Tapos yung takedowns ang galing. Tine-takedown ni Vettori pero kaka-takedown lang baliktad na agad. So
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, we had one na RNC type, di ba? Parang kala namin.
May muntikan na si Israel doon pero
Vettori.
Sobra. Munti ka na talaga. Pero it really goes to show the evolution of the techniques in MMA in terms of your tactics inside the cage. Like everyone knows, everyone's aware of the calf kick. Everyone is aware of the damage and the
been there
things that
for a
it can
long
do to
time.
you. Pero if we watch this fight card na naman, you go to Leon Edwards. Hindi makaset up si Nate Diaz because of the calf kicks.
yes.
He wasn't
How does it feel when you get hit with a calf?
Ano siya? It's very numbing.
Pulikat.
Very
Parang kang
Hindi
pinupulikat.
pulikat. Yung parang feeling mo nawawala yung muscle.
Oh, shit.
Basta
Okay.
it not only hits the muscle kasi, it hits the nerves on the side of the
May nerve
muscle.
dyan
Anong
Tawag
episode
dun.
ba natin yun? I think it's Tito
Parang
James
Charles-
Deacon ba or kay Tito Raymond
Yeah.
Marasigan. Yung where we
Both,
explained the
Kay
the calf
Raymond.
kick. There's a nerve that you
nerve
hit.
there.
Peroneal nerve, the peroneal nerve.
Peroneal,
When you hit the peroneal nerve,
It numbs you out. Ganon.
hindi lang siya numbs out. Parang feeling mo, you
Parang
can't
hindi-
put weight on it.
It's like when you're sitting down for a long time, tapos nagmanhid yung leg mo, and then you suddenly
Yan,
stand up.
yan.
Yun, okay.
Parang-
Oh,
Ganon.
shit.
Medyo crampy feeling, parang ganun.
Yung
Yun.
manhid na...
The moment
or
you start
fall.
stepping on it, you kind of go wobbly.
Parang gumagano
Yeah,
lang.
Nakita mo. That's why you saw Nate Diaz every time Leon Edwards threw a calf kick or a slow leg kick that hit behind his knee or the side of his knee, he would stop, try to create like
Stop,
an
parang
antic. He would do an
bounce.
antic, diba?
Yeah.
Diba? And then he'll try to walk it off. That was his way of buying time, so that he wants blood flow on that foot. Now going to the Izzy versus Vettori fight, that was the first thing that Izzy did. He started chopping down on that leg. Every time so if you watch the second round, that was the only time. Watch the second round takedown. Yung drive, we call it the drive. Their ability to keep pushing and running versus the third and the fourth round, wala na. Hirap na hirap mag-drive
naubos na.
si Vettori. He wasn't really able to do any explosive movement. That's the problem when you don't have your legs underneath you. It's so hard to move laterally. It's so hard to do explosive movements. Your upper body is already going forward pero naiiwan yung paa mo. Your lower body is not moving with you. So it's like
so you're just gonna clinch or you're just gonna
you end up clinching
or living on the ropes. But you know what I've noticed with this fight, with the Vettori fight and the Paulo Costa fight, it's the same game plan. You know, Paulo Costa, we all know he could strike, but he's a good grappler. Vettori, we know he's a good grappler. Not much on the striking side on the first fight, but he's a grappler. What did Adesanya do as a game plan? Binuisit niya lang. Just piss him off. Get him angry. He knows that Vettori packed on a lot of muscle.
That's true.
Yes.
And he knows that Vettori, when you pack a lot of muscle, your muscle firing is going to be slower. There'll be delays to this. Number two. Number three, he noticed he's a mouth breather. So for some reason, Vettori doesn't breathe through his nose. He's a mouth breather. So in the later rounds, he knows he's gonna gas out. So Vettori was so angry from the build-up to the fight to the opening round until the fifth round that his corner told him, "Wake up! You have to stick to the game plan.
Wake up!"
You know, because
although,
it's like
I'm not sure na may game plan talaga si Vettori though. I mean,
the game plan was to grapple. That was the game plan, but he threw that out of the window. He wanted to take his head off. You know what I mean?
That is true.
Isang observation ko dito sa Vettori fight kasi comparing to the first fight, then dito, Vettori was trying to take a page dun sa Adesanya versus Blachowicz eh. Blachowicz was bigger, so akala ni Vettori he kung magpalaki siya, he could bully Adesanya, pero sorry, no, it's not gonna work. You're not Blachowicz.
If he did that on the first round, kaya. Pero ginawa ni Vettori kasi he went striking. If you've noticed, Adesanya's eyes when they were calling him in the beginning, his eyes were lost. Like he was nervous. Because remember, you're coming from a loss, your first loss ever in the UFC, coming from a grappler that took you down. So imagine if Vettori took him down in the first round, babalik yung feeling nun. Yung pagkatalo. Pero hindi niya ginawa yun eh. Ini-strike niya eh. So nagkaroon ng confidence to si Adesanya. He built up his confidence, built it up slowly. And every time and then every time Vettori would throw something, Adesanya would touch him. Not hit him hard, just touch him. That's what Mayweather does to fighters. He was mentally blocking him one by one, every single move. And the latter part, wala na si Vettori, naubos. Naubos mentally.
Hindi halos makatama si Vettori kay Adesanya, di ba?
Yeah. He was frustrated.
He's not just technically proficient. He reads fighters really well.
Yes. He makes his read. Round 1 talaga.
Oh, round 1 palang read na. And he got this from experience in kickboxing talaga. Years in kickboxing, fighting elite fighters, and then transitioning to MMA. He knows na he's mentally tougher. He knows that he's smarter. I think that's the more appropriate term. He knows that he's smarter. You got bigger. Round 1 pa lang dapat you started wrestling, you started grappling with him, you started pinning him in the cage. You didn't allow him to set up anything. You didn't allow you broke that barrier of distance. Kasi isipin mo na lang, if he kept pushing him towards the cage, he wasn't winning the clinch game eh. He was waiting for small pockets of opportunities to push him away and run. Then afterwards, yun na, wala na. So sayang eh. Sabi ko parang late na siya nag-takedown na
late na siya.
attempt.
Dapat
late
wala
na,
nang surprise eh. I mean, you can't play that patty cake game with Izzy like, dude, ilang beses niya nang ginagawa yan. So dapat nga parang
he was pissed off.
Ka na. He was. I mean, parang he was trying to prove himself na kaya niya makipag-bang with Izzy. Nobody can bang with Izzy, man.
Yeah, nobody can bang with Izzy.
Try to do it. It's not gonna happen. He's faster than you and he has wala ka nang pupuntahan that he hasn't seen before.
And
so,
do you believe that
it
the
can
Izzy
overwhelm
photo,
him with the drive. Like, that was the successful thing there. He just closed the distance and he drove. So na at least manalo ka man lang in the takedown department.
So sobrang mental game in this one. This is such a mental game plan. With Paulo Costa, binuwisit ni Izzy si Paulo Costa to a point that he had to drink wine. Naglasing sa buwisit.
Sa
Hindi
init.
siya makatulog.
Yeah, because he was pissed. He was that pissed. Now with this one, the mental aspect of this one with Vettori, he was so pissed that he had his shorts on backwards. He couldn't get his shorts on.
Sa promo.
Photo shoot.
Baliktad.
And to
Diba?
wrap
Tapos
it up,
pinabayaan ng UFC yun.
yeah, exactly. To be honest.
UFC yun.
Hindi ko gets yun. Parang talaga bang baliktad? O parang
Yeah, it was
pinabaliktad ba
backwards.
nila?
It was backwards. Mentally,
Talaga.
kasi he wasn't focused. He was so pissed off. Tapos, added pa before the fight, Izzy posted a photo of him and his dick in the shorts. That's mental shit because, in their culture, you gotta have some big your ball.
Yeah.
But, Izzy posting
Parang
that.
message na, hey, Vettori, I have a bigger dick than you.
Bigger dick than
Exactly.
you.
That sobrang mental shit that I'm gonna bitch you around like I did to Paulo Costa. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. And it got to his head.
Ang galing nung ginawa ni Izzy ngayon. That's why there's so much potential. There's really good things coming for his career. Kasi nga, he knows how to handle it. He knows how to
He's
handle
gonna be champ for a long time.
And he's one of the more active champions.
Yes.
Parang he fights like twice a year.
Whittaker,
He called out Whittaker pala.
Yeah, that's
what
he wanted.
Whittaker.
But,
Pero the thing with Izzy as well, he's social media savvy. So he's always online. But what he needs to work on is his wrestling. He needs to work on is his ground game. He has
Ang dami niya down
sobrang worse ng mas magaling pa si Connor sa kanya sa ground. If you ask me.
Pero kanina, maganda in fairness yung ano niya. He has really good
Improvement.
back. Yung almost rear naked, he was able to spin out. The clinch, he was able to get out faster. And feeling ko, pero I attribute this to Vettori gassing out. Ang ganda nung bridges niya Yung nag-upa siya, sabi ko, lakas nung upa ni... Lakas nung bridge ni Adesanya. Or baka pagod na lang din si Vettori.
Mouth breather.
Yung rear naked ni Vettori, it was almost there. Pero sabi,
he rushed
nung
it. Sabi ko,
replay, it was like, hindi pa pala nakasettle. And it was like, ito na yung choke. Nagmadali na lang siya. Sayang.
Nagmadali siya.
He was angry. He was.
Yeah,
you know what I want to
angry.
watch?
Angry and frustrated.
Paulo Costa versus Vettori. That would be a good build-up. That would be a good match.
Guys.
Battle of the frustrated. Diba? Parehong meathead, no? Kita mo, no?
Si Ricky Martin versus the guy from Goonies, di ba?
Ayan! alam mong meathead trash talk na lang mangyayari. Tapos ito-troll sila ni Izzy.
Ito mo dalawang to, parang ganun.
Kasama rin si Kobe Garbrandt doon. Sila sama-sama sila.
Oo nga, no?
Good din yun, si Cody.
Diba, yun yung pinaka, that is the most, Whittaker got called out. I think they want to do it in Auckland. But other than that, kasi parang who else is? Let's check.
What if Michael Page, right?
Michael Venom Page kasi he's not for me. He's not at that level
Hindi pa actually. Kasi na-expose siya ni Douglas ba yun?
Douglas Lima.
Lima's not even a champ anymore.
Ayan Paulo Costa. Si Paulo Costa. Number 1 pala si Robert Whittaker. Number 2 si Paulo Costa.
Yeah.
Oo. You know what's interesting? If Jack Hermanson can get his shit together.
Alam mo si Hermanson, this is also good. Jack Hermanson really is also good. And then si Jared Cannonier. Kaso nga lang, medyo kailangan pa ng konting star power ni Jared Cannonier. Then you got
it'll be a boring press con, you know what I mean? So
yep. Yeah. You have to be. Feeling ko yun din yun kasi we're in the attention getting market na We're in the attention getting era. You have to be that. You have to do it.
You know what
talaga.
would be attention getting like on the division? Darren Till can talk some trash.
Yeah, Darren Till.
Actually, Darren Till is good. Nakakainis lang kasi
bagal lang ni Darren, man.
Bagal
Kawig siya ni Elon Musk eh. Sorry, nalilito.
Isa sa mga maliliit na frustrations ko to, si Uriah Hall. He's
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
You know he's good.
It can't get a break, man.
Something. Can't get a break, man.
Can't get a fucking break, man.
Naunahan pa siya ni Kevin Gastelum, man.
Oh,
Like, who the fuck, diba? Kevin.
Uriah Hall, parang there's so much hype. Then the hype died down. Then his career slowly died with it. Then eventually started coming back. Then
Iba yung mata niya kasi, he has a psycho killer eye.
Oh,
Di mabenta ng UFC ako. How do we sell you, dude? You know what I'm saying?
So
Can I talk
this is-
about a fantasy matchup? Like, if eventually, let's say si Jiri Prohaska wins against Jan Blachowicz, I would really love to see Izzy step up again against a stylist like Jiri Prohaska. Yung ganong flowing.
Ang problema kasi is it's too light eh. At 205, Izzy's too light.
He's
All
too
the
light,
205ers are going to do is just do the same thing that Jan Blachowicz did. Gonna take him down, smother him on top.
What
Wala.
if it's Uriah Hall and Izzy?
I would want
Yeah.
that.
I would.
Okay, sana yun.
especially if Uriah is 100% dun sa laban. Yeah. I'd watch that.
Sobrang ano yan. Sobrang gandang laban nun actually.
That'll be a two
Para may
energy
episode
kill,
tayo. Para may episode tayo, sinabi ko that would be a good fight eh. Na Uriah Hall versus Izzy. That would be amazing. That is your UFC 263 recap. Rico, about how's your local MMA experience?
Oh man, ring announcing wise, or I don't train
most definitely.
I enjoy ring announcing. I miss it as far as watching people fight, watching your coaches at gym and other gyms take on each other, and seeing like, diba? You see na, parang, uy, si Nilo Vidal, may laban na naman. Kumusta? Ganun, diba? So I miss those because, it's the energy of seeing people scream, drinking and partying and watching the fights, like, Laban MMA in Baguio. Iba yung energy, I could imagine. If you were to do that now, na walang tao, I would not know. It would be weird.
Parang mahirap, ano?
When you guys were at the YouTube thing, na walang tao, the fights there with the Kiko Matos fight, how did it feel when you guys were watching it?
Ako when I was commentating, maingay din naman. It was loud in the venue, but the energy was different.
Iba, no? Iba
Kasi
parang,
especially
iba yung
ikaw,
may
if you're
energy
ring
ng
announcing,
audience,
di ba?
no?
You feed off the energy of the crowd, di ba? Parang iba yung ako especially when I referee, parang if you try, I do my best to soak it in. There are times na people will catch me. Yan, si Yin Quintin. Shout out to Yin Quintin, one of the best MMA photographers, event photographers out there. As in,
Lodi namin si Yin.
idol yan. Ang galing, Yin Quintin. So check her out. She would catch me and she would show me photos. Minsan she would catch me in every event. Before the start of each bout na I will referee, I'll go into one corner, close my eyes and look up. And just that was my way of soaking in the energy of people shouting. Diba? The lights are hot. Diba? The lights are hot. The venue is cold. Diba? You can smell sweat and blood on the canvas or on the cage. There are so many things happening. And then when Rico starts announcing fights, attention starts going center. And then when the cage closes, everyone goes a little bit quiet, and then they become attentive to what's happening right in front of them. Yun yung nakakamiss. So I really hope na our government gets their shit together and we can start. I don't know.
Pero naman daw ngayon eh. Amoy alcohol gel lahat.
Amoy sabi ko eh.
Diba?
Yeah, for sure. Ito, Rico's been in the boxing industry and the MMA industry for a very long time. This is what I tell people nga when I do my part in panel discussions. I tell them, mas takot kami sa staff. Mas takot kami sa ringworm. That's why everything is clean. If you think that gyms are not safe, they're fucking safe. as in everyone. Yeah,
Staph infection is no joke, man.
Gym, everyone's socially distancing in a boxing gym. Kasi the bags are placed, they have to move around. So dun pala socially distanced ka na. Speed bags, hindi magkakadikit yan. Double end bags, hindi magkakadikit yan. Diba? If you are doing mitt rounds on the ring, it's only you and the coach. So people are properly spaced out. So buti naman they allowed the gyms to open out at least for 30%. That's good. I've been advocating and like really driving the point na the fitness industry or the gyms are one of the most neglected industries during this whole thing.
Oo nga eh.
Diba? So many people lost their jobs, closed their gyms, and for what? Diba? Parang wala na. Diba?
Baka kapag ano rin eh, pag nagbo-boxing ka, karamihan doon heartbroken. So malayo talaga sa mga tao yun, di ba?
Oo,
Hindi mo mag-isa sa
totoo yan.
gilid,
Diba?
di ba?
May issue. May
yan.
issue yan.
Oo, ay tamo, heartbroken ka,
Yeah.
heartbroken ka. Ano?
Oh,
Ganun
'di ba?
talaga,
So
di ba?
naglalabas ng sama ng loob 'yan. So
Yeah.
do not disturb, 'di ba? Hindi naman nag-uusap ang mga tao sa gym. Rarely ka naman makakita ng yun din, boxing gyms, rarely ako nakakita na nagkaka-pick upan diyan kasi
Wala, di uso din yun.
di uso masyado kasi pag nabastusan sa'yo, may suot na gloves yung babae, sapakin ka kagad, 'di ba? So it's a totally different dynamic. Now, how about your take on the local boxing scene? Like any names in particular that you're watching?
Wow. Right
Yeah.
now,
There's an
well,
upcoming match
Casimiro.
Sunday.
Yeah, Casimiro.
Casimiro, okay?
Yeah, on Sunday it's Michael Hot and Spicy Dasmariñas versus
Oh, yeah,
Naoya
that's
Inoue. Yeah.
Right.
What's your
So-
take on that upcoming fight?
Wow. Inoue, this is the monster Inoue or the brother?
Yes.
This is the brother.
Inoue. Naoya.
Inoue,
the
Inoue.
Yeah.
Inoue.
The monster.
Nah, you can't beat him. You can't beat him. It'll probably take Nonito again, maybe, because Nonito's coach now, of course, is his wife. If you guys didn't know that,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a difference now in everything. But I give it to Inoue. I mean, many will probably look at me and be like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" But yeah, I'm gonna give it to him. Why? Because number one, his sparring partners are mostly Pinoys.
He knows
So-
how Pinoy's move, so yeah.
And Pinoy fighters, boxing stuff and everything, may certain rhythm tayo, may certain style tayo, same way that Mexicans fight the same style, which is, toe-to-toe, ganun.
Yeah.
Pinoy kasi, we like to do the jab straight.
Yeah.
Like it's a Manny Pacquiao formula that works. So you tend to learn that. Now, with the solid foundation of fundamentals of Inoue, tsaka iba yung style ni Inoue kasi he's bursty. It's weird. I'm trying to study him. He stands still, then he'll burst out of nowhere. He's explosive.
Ang awkward ng
Explosive.
style niya, no?
And it's hard to prepare for him. It's hard to prepare for him. Inoue, and well, the only person that I know is as explosive as him is Nonito Donaire. That's the only person that I know that
Yeah.
could explode like that.
Who he actually looks up to.
Yes. And nakita mo kung paano tinalo ni Inoue si Donaire.
Yeah.
Tinanggap niya lahat ng suntok ni Donaire.
Yeah.
Tapos sinabi niya, is that all you got? So mentally, on the latter part, Donaire broke down.
Yeah.
Mental wise. But then, physical wise, it was a really, really good fight. So I got Inoue on this one. I got Monster Inoue for this fight. Now, if it's Casimiro and Inoue, that is an interesting conversation. Because Casimiro has a one-punch power. He has a one-punch knockout. So that's a different conversation altogether.
But before the Casimiro Inoue, there's the Casimiro Rigondo coming up
Well,
before the
Rigondo's
Pacquiao.
41. Rigon, I always believe that there's stages in a fighter.
Yeah.
There is prospect, there is contender, there's journeyman, and
Yep.
there's nagbebenta. So I mean, it just goes to show. Because we all know he jumped ship, and he's not the same Rigo no more. He's not elusive. He's an
Yep.
exchanging Rigo. He exchanges. He's a toe-to-toe Rigo now. Remember, Gamboa, that's his style. Rigo has always been the elusive one. But since he's older and he's getting hit, that's a whole different story. So I'm going to give this to Casimiro. It could be part of a contract of a build-up. Sorry, I'm getting into the whole business.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
go. This is exactly what we need. This is exactly
yes.
why this show was built, because we want to educate people that matchups happen for a reason. And
So
for
observation.
us,
Observation-wise, kunyari, when you're a fighter, kunyari, JC, you're a top prospect that I'm signing you, I'm the promoter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a 10-fight contract. Sa 10 laban na yun, yung 5 doon, build up. Build up. Then sa 5 doon sa huli, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fight. 6, 7, 8 will be big names pero matanda na. Now, the last 2 contracts of 9 and 10 fight, magne-negotiate tayo kung magre-renew ka or hindi. Kung magre-renew ka, then I'll feed you to my novice fighter that has a big name and then 1 big fight. if you're not gonna renew, I will feed you to the wolves. It's as simple as that. So, ngayon, Rigondo, contract fighter na lang siya. So, of course, up and coming tong isa, okay, benta tayo, big name. Ganun. So, ngayon, marketing ploy, if he wins, it'll be like, oh, this is the guy that beat Nonito Donaire. Well, this is the new Filipino that beat the guy that beat Nonito Donaire. I'll feed off that marketing value.
Selling point.
Tataas ng konti.
It's always building up. It has to be a slow build and a smart build kasi it only takes one loss to put you down in the rankings.
Yeah.
Sira lahat yun. Balik ka dun. Yung how about the resurgence of Nonito Donaire?
Yeah.
Like, tayo, mga era natin to eh. Era natin mga Titos of Nonito Donaire. So it's like, how is that glimpse of hope?
I like the fight. I saw the fight. I mean, he knew that his opponent was not fundamentally sound. So the thing with Nonito is that, in the early days of Nonito, we all know him as a great boxer. The thing with Nonito is that he would outbox you for 11
Very
rounds
technical, ano?
and then knock you out on the 12th. And then in the latter part of his career, we all know in boxing or in fighting, there are stages to your career where your legs start to go or your certain reflexes start to go. So you tend to adjust as a fighter. Now, the good part about Nonito now, with his wife being his coach and his dad as well, is that the sharpness of Robert Garcia, the new approach, his wife is bringing in. And the traditional style of the dad, it's a good combination. Because before, it was Robert Garcia's scientific approach, and then, it was Nonito's dad's traditional approach, and then Robert Garcia's scientific approach. But the dad wasn't there when Robert Garcia was there. Ngayon, the combination of the two. Nagsama. Science and also the tradition, which is a good result. Now, the question is, will his body at this age be enough to withstand the killers of that division? And that is another good question.
Yeah. Do you think he can, when everything is said and done sa bantamweight division, do you think, kunyari, let's say, Inoue wins against Dasmariñas, Casimero wins over Rigondo, and magkaroon ng parang maybe 4-man bantamweight matchup, parang ganon. Do you think Nonito can possibly dominate that?
The thing with any fighter is that it's motivation. If you have the motivation to keep on doing what you're doing, you continue to win. One thing that's motivating Nonito is unification. I think he never unified a belt. If I'm not mistaken.
He did. He's the third, pero there's been only one Filipino na nakapag undisputed. Undisputed is when you hold the 4 belts, right?
That's what he wants to do.
That's what he wants to do. The first ever na nakapag undisputed was Flash Elorde when there were only 2 major belts. Ngayon, 4 na. Nobody has ever unified. No Filipino has ever done that.
So imagine if Nonito does that. And of course, he's the Filipino Flash. So imagine. He could be going to the history books as he'll be saying, I unified that. It's beyond this record. So that's the greatest of all time status as being a Filipino boxer. That's Manny Pacquiao. So, it cements your legacy. So that's what he's after. So that's what's driving him now, which is really, really nice. That it's nice to see him back fighting in Vegas. Nice to see him back fighting in the US, and fighting quality opponents. So we'll see with that monster Inoue. How about let's see for Pacquiao. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Errol Spence and Pacquiao. We discussed that the previous episode. Sabi ko, Errol Spence is a very dangerous opponent for Manny, but he is also one of those tailor-fit opponents for Manny because he will always start attacking if he gets you pinned on the ropes or he gets you pinned in the corners. If you start standing in front of him, that's the time that he will start peppering you with his punches. That's when he starts getting aggressive. That becomes tailor-made for a fighter like Manny because Manny likes to move around. He has better footwork. Now it's just a matter of how much strength and conditioning is Manny doing, given all the responsibilities that he's having right now.
I got Manny for this one. I got Manny for this fight.
Yeah, although ang question here is, how will Manny fare against a southpaw after so many years? I think the last time he faced a southpaw was David Diaz.
David Diaz.
How far ba?
He did. You know, the thing there is that he could get a bunch of sparring partners na lefty that with a similar style. Now, Errol Spence's style is not as special as Floyd. It's not as hard to prepare for. Now, the style of Manny, on the other hand, you cannot find a southpaw that is similar to Manny. Now, Mayweather, what I hear, will be joining the camp of Errol Spence.
He's supposedly helping.
Yeah, for
he
the
wants
tips.
to help, for the tips.
So the thing
Good
with Errol
pointers.
Spence, diba? He's long. He has good body shots. Now the thing with Manny is his weakness is his body. Now he has
And
been.
as most of Filipinos, no, sa body shots talagang kahinaan.
Margarito, Miguel Cotto. We've seen, there were rumors that he pissed blood after the Margarito fight. I don't know how real that is, but there are rumors.
Yeah,
of that.
probably. Oh, kidney shots. Was taking liver shots, kidney shots.
And we got to see that in the Thurman fight. He did hit Thurman with a body shot, pero nung tinatamaan rin siya ni Thurman ng body shot, yung legs niya medyo nag-iba. Nag-iba yung timpla. But the thing with Manny now, what I like about him is that he's a smarter fighter now. Hindi siya bara-bara. Hindi siya yung sugod mga kapatid. Ang style niya ngayon, ganun siya. He weaves, he likes to pendulum. And when he sees an opening, he goes in. If he pendulums here, that's his style now.
Nag-improve siya, nag-improve. I'm seeing some highlight videos over on Instagram and on TikTok. Lagi ako napapa-comment bring him to a gym. He needs that gym vibe. Diba? I think he has money to close down a gym. So bring him to a gym. He needs that gym vibe. Kasi nagtitrain lang, pinapakita lang lagi, nagtitrain siya sa bahay. Hindi yan for a fighter This is kaya sabihin mo sobrang veterano na siya. O iba yung mindset ng fighter pag dinala mo siya sa isang boxing gym.
It's also close the camp. Don't open it to everybody. Because
that's true.
Yun yung reason why Floyd beat Manny. One reason is that there was somebody who got access to the information that Manny was sparring an MMA fighter and that Manny injured his shoulder during that sparring. It was a middleweight MMA fighter. That was the rumor. So they got to Floyd's camp. So they knew the weakness. They knew where to take him.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So close the camp. Don't let anybody in that shit, and you'll be good.
Diba? And then get core exercises. Parang anong fight ba yun? Lagi ako nagko-comment, core exercises. Kasi body shot na. Kung ako yung coach akala, sabihin ko, babadyin kita ng babadyin. Yari ka.
Pero kay Cotto, maganda yung core ni Manny kay Cotto nun Kasi I remember, he had, if I'm not mistaken, he had Alex Ariza with him as his core trainer for that one. As in, they started hiring people.
Now he has Justin Fortune, but we'll see how he fares with Justin Fortune though.
The classic Justin.
The classic. Balik Balik sila. Okay, everyone, that was a really good episode. Rico, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Where can people find you? Please plug everything that you want to plug, man.
I'm on radio every day, 10 a.m. If you like to listen to sports and chismis. I do both of that.
Great combo.
10 a.m. to 1 p.m. every single day. Then I'm just on TikTok watching people do stupid things. I see people dancing. I see people cooking. I see people humuhugot. And I do watch Franco's content. Then marami akong tututunan when it comes to mixed martial arts and everything. And that's about it, man. On Instagram, I troll people on Instagram.
Mahilig.
Alam mo, pag wala akong magawa, nag-aaliw lang ako. So I would just share memes. Pero really radio. We're on air every day. Interviewing different celebrities, interviewing different athletes, different people. Just tune into the monster.
Thank you so much, Rico, for doing this. And again, everyone, if this is your first time here, welcome. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please follow us on social media. Follow Destroy MNL. They're all over the place. My podcast is Coach Franco Says. And
quick
JC,
shoutout lang pala. Quick shoutout lang to this coffee, local coffee brewery.
Yes, nakita namin yan. Please, show it.
It's called Beans Caffeine. Unfortunately, nainom ko na lahat ng pinadala nila sa akin.
Ganun siya kasarap.
Coffee.
Kaya pala perky ka today.
Carl,
Yes,
may
sir.
tanong lang ako. Ano yung naka-frame dyan sa likod mo? Ano yun?
Ano yun? Kalso ng basurahan ko.
Hindi, yung frame, yung sa may
Yung
gilid,
picture.
parang picture
May
frame.
painting, may
Ano
painting.
yan,
ata.
mga TikTok dati. Sinaunang TikTok.
Diba? I don't, because I'm looking at it, I don't know if it's a panda, or I don't know if it's
Oo nga,
Japanese.
is it a puppy?
Can you guys guess? Those that are watching, can you guess? Don't reveal yet, Carla. Kung ano yung nasa painting nila. Can you guys guess what Carl's painting is? And if you guess
And then
it
we'll
properly,
put it at the end.
yeah, you win a prize.
We'll give you a prize. Diba? So, everyone, thank you so much. We'll
Thank
see
you,
you
guys.
next week for another episode of Combat Sports Weekly. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Coach Franco says would like to thank the following sponsors for making this episode possible.
My armor of choice. Never go to battle without it. Beware the robot face. I am Knots and Crosses. Place your orders on their Facebook or Instagram pages. Just good vibes in the local jiu-jitsu scene. Check out my Ikiro Collective family at ikiro.ph. Simply Better Dentistry. Visit the Santos Dental Group and Oral Surgery Center. Book an appointment on their social media pages. Boost your immune system with Nano Silver Immune Support Supplement. Order your bottles on their social media pages. For local martial arts news here in the Philippines, visit Local MMA on Facebook and listen to one of my favorite